So, okay, multiple streams of income, very important. So you've diversified your portfolio. You have physical products. What's the thought process behind that?
The thought process behind this was we believed that we had built a brand that was nationally known while only having a few hundred seats total, even if you collect all the Carbones in the country. So certainly we can only reach a very, very small demographic of people physically. How do I do something, create something that can reach a much larger percentage of the people that know who we are and would like something based off the product? They'd like a little piece of that restaurant taken home to them. So this was the way that we thought to go about doing that.
Okay. And okay, so you want to bottle it. Are you working with somebody? Are you doing this independent? Is it a partnership?
We work with it starts with us creating this sauce ourselves, like literally Rich and myself creating this sauce on scale.
Okay.
Because as you get to scales that we're cooking at, the recipes change. So it took us quite some time to get to something that we were really happy with. You're doing it at a bottling plant where sauce is being made on scale. We don't own 100-gallon drums of ovens and kettles. So you do that locally, choosing the tomato, choosing all the ingredients, choosing the cooking process, tweaking the recipes. Every time a new batch is made, they send us a sample so that we can make sure that it's exactly where it's supposed to be. So that's kind of how you go about it. You want to take the same sort of care and thought process with this as you would anything you're making at the restaurants.
Yeah, so multiple streams turns from having the product. I use the product, the tomato basil, like I was telling you, but you have a portfolio of over 40 restaurants.
Yeah,
right?
Almost 50 now.
Almost 50. All of them, each are kind of unique, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you have the Lobster Club, which is different from Carbone. You talked about Parm. What is the process when you're saying, let me look at the landscape, what is it missing? How are you choosing locations and what to put in each?
I think the process is different. Sometimes it'll come to us. A developer is building something, a hotel or a residential tower, and they say, we have a space available. We'd love to have you part of the project. Sometimes it's us seeking a space because we have, like Teresi, for instance, our original restaurant had outgrown the original space. We need a space. We have to go find one, but we don't want to leave the circumference too far from the original location. So it's often opportunistic, how we get a hold of these spaces, and then figuring out, okay, working backwards, what does this space want? What does it want to be? Sometimes it's predetermined, where a hotel will come to us and say, we're looking to put a Carbone here in this city, and you can either agree or disagree to do the deal. Or it can be abstract. Hey, let me know your thoughts on this project and how you would program it. And then we can go back and sort of take a look back and say, okay, what is that project or that city, that development? What does it want? What does it want to be? What does it want? And work through it. What's the demographic of the city? What do we think the appropriate check average would be? What's the right concept to put there? So each one can be unique of how we get to the answers we get to.
When you look at it, is it ever a situation where there's a real estate component to it where we actually now have ownership or equity inside of these developments? Does that come into play as well for you guys?
For sure. You want to, as you get bigger and the brands get bigger, you want to try to leverage them as much as possible. So we're fully aware that food and beverage greatly affects how you, the customer, feel about that hotel. I stay at that hotel because it's got that great restaurant inside.
This is true.
Or I might buy a condo in that building because it's got a Carbone in it or whatever. Okay, well, if we're affecting it that greatly for the owner of the building or the developer, well, then there should be something in it for us as well. But 50 restaurants, we've got 50 different deals. They're all different. They all look a little different. And that's just kind of growth as well, and teaching. No one teaches you this, so learning as you go along how to construct these things and how to put them together for the good of the business, the best of the business.
Can you talk about Carbone Beach and the partnership with American Express?
Yeah, absolutely. American Express has been an amazing partner to us for years now, and we've just finished our third year of Carbone Beach. So there's been 3, and it's in line with the Formula One race in Miami. So there's been 3 of those now. And, the first year came about because as this sort of Formula One race in Miami was happening and all the buzz and talk about it coming to Miami, we realized we needed to do something on scale with what was looking like it was going to be the biggest weekend of the year in the city. We're like, well, if this is the biggest weekend of the year, we need to go big too. It's not enough to just have the restaurants. So we came up with this idea of this sort of basically old world supper club, very glamorous, weekend of dinners where there'd be a performance, there'd be this over the top meal, all sorts of activations happening around it. But the scale we were talking about was crazy. It was the biggest thing we've ever done. Basically building a airplane hangar on the beach of Miami. So we needed help. And Amex has always been, really, really supportive of us. Great partners. They were the first people we thought of to call. And Queens guy, Steve Squirry, CEO. Shout out to Steve Squirry, the CEO of Amex, McClancy High School. We gave him a call, and he was like, absolutely, we would love to partner with you. So that was the beginning of a great relationship, and what is basically the Academy Awards for us. I mean, it's the biggest event of the year we put on. It takes virtually the whole year to put it together.
You're talking about high level. I remember last year when I saw Nas on stage, and Khaled was just recording, and Stout was there, ice sculptures. It was an amazing looking event. I'm sure this year we missed this year. We were at a dear friend's birthday party out of town, so we missed it. But when I thought about it, and I'm glad you brought up F1, it makes me feel like maybe this is something that could happen at additional F1s. I know you're in Vegas already, and shout out to the Aria because you're in there.
There you go.
One of the reasons we stay. But is there potential to follow events, right? Whether it's the World Cup, which is coming, it'll be in Miami as well. F1, which travels throughout the world. Is that on the vision board as well?
There's definitely demand for it. We've done Carbone Beach in Doha for the Formula One race there. We plan to do it again this year there. So some of these bigger events have been reaching out based off of the success of the one in Miami. And again, it's for us because it's judging risk reward because it's such a big lift for us. It takes so many team members, so many man hours to put it on, to make it great, that you're always looking at it as what's the risk reward here? What's the level of risk for us to send a whole squad hours and hours away from their home base? But I'd say to your point, there is definitely growing demand for this Carbone Beach product at big events around the world.